ERA. It is a grant. No, that's good. It's a grant that is about college. So it means gaining early awareness and readiness for undergraduate programs. And when we talk about college, we are talking about T24. Who knows what T24 is? Somebody's got it right here. What does it mean? So you remember hearing about it. So technical, 2-year, and 4-year. You're going to be hearing a lot about it because it's what the district is all about right now, and the whole point is getting you ready for whatever it is you want to do after high school, to give you a foundation for the best success that you can possibly have. So whether it's a technical school, technical training, 2-year, 4-year, your education after high school really matters, and what you do now matters later. So ERA is a federal grant. Anyone want to guess how much money? $1 million. Now, that's over the next 4 years. So $250,000 this year for the freshman class of 2017. Now, we've got a video camera going over here because about 100 of your classmates are taking the PSAT this morning, so they're missing out on this. So what we wanted to do was record this so that the questions that are asked, the information that is given, we will be able to put up on the LC website so that those students can access that information. Because this grant impacts all 500 plus of this class. And it's for the next 4 years. And yes, it is right around $1 million. All for you. Big deal. Mr. Spraggins is going to talk more about that. Now, because it is so much money, and because it is federal money, there are lots of things we have to do to make sure that we're doing it correctly. So, how many of you have already seen one of these? Freshman orientation? Anybody? Anyone come to freshman fun night? Yeah? Okay, so guess what? Learn this, know this, love this. Every time we do something Europe related, you will be signing your name. It's just part of how the money works. So what we've done is we have put your names in alphabetical order on this list. I'm going to start passing this clipboard. You need to keep it moving because we need the signatures of everyone that is in here today. Now, because we also have this money and we have all kinds of ways to support you, you are also going to be getting a flash drive when you leave here today. Yeah, very handy, very handy. So you will see Mr. Oakes and Mr. Close as you're exiting, and every person gets a flash drive. So I'm going to start this around, and you're going to do what? Sign it. And by the time your 4 years are done, you will be so good at signing your name, you will be ready to sign all those checks that you're going to write. Okay, so again, they're in alphabetical order. Find your name, sign it. The next thing that's going to come around, Mr. Spraggins is passing out information about our contact information as well as your 9th grade benchmarks. You can look forward to something like this every year because part of what we're trying to do is make sure that this money is helping you stay on track for the next 4 years. So there will be benchmarks that we have for you every single year. So everyone should get one of those. They're 3-hole punch. They're kind of nice and heavy so that they should be able to go well in a binder and be able to stay nicely. Okay. These are the people who are staffed working for you. So I am Mrs. McGuire. I am the Garrett coordinator. Mr. Spraggins will be talking to you in just a minute. How many of you know Mrs. Leidy from Zachariah? Right? Mrs. Leidy is our Garrett administrator, and then we also have Mrs. Harris-Courteau, who some of you know from the student office. She is our data specialist. Now, who else is involved with Europe? Families, community, teachers, staff. The point I want you to take away from that, look up here at all of these different people. All of these different people are here to support you. That's a pretty big deal. You're the only class that has this grant. It's not for next year's freshmen. It's not for this year's seniors. It's only for the class of 2017. You need to hear that, be aware of it, and take advantage of everything that you can. And realize that all of these people will be involved in some way or another. We've already got adults from the community who are going to be helping us with field trips, who are going to be helping us with job internships, who are going to be helping us with mentoring and tutoring, and all of those kinds of things. All kinds of people on board already to help support you in your success after high school. So I want to hand it over to Mr. Spraggins, who's going to tell you a little bit more about what it actually means to you as students. So as we go along, when I introduce the panel to you, want a big round of applause for them, but you don't have to applaud after every little thing. But let's just get some applause out of the way right now, shall we? Let's just all be glad we're here. That's great. Thank you for showing up today. We are glad you're here and we hope you're going to get a lot out of it. So now Mr. Spraggins, and applause for him would be lovely.
And Mrs. McGuire just pointed out, probably the question you have now is how does LC having this program benefit you? And I think she alluded to that earlier. Okay, so the simple answer is that you have $1 million that is focused specifically on your success. That's a lot of money, that's a lot of programming, that's a lot of staff. So that's kind of the simple answer. When you think about the program itself, there's really two overarching goals. The first is to increase the probability of your being successful in the classroom. So we want you to be good students here over your 4 years. The second goal is to make sure, or to ensure that when you leave here in 4 years, you are college ready. And basically that means just ready for whatever post-secondary opportunities you choose. So as Mrs. McGuire has pointed out, college readiness, you're going to hear that a ton over the next 4 years. And that just means that whether you're looking at a traditional 4-year experience, a 2-year college, maybe an apprenticeship, if you're going into the military and there's going to be a tech school or some kind of trade school that you're going to be doing, that you are ready when you leave here in order to do that. So that's really our goal. And then as she's also pointed out, we have a dedicated staff that we are here solely to support you. So we're going to be having programs and activities that are going to get at the goals as I've just outlined those things. So that's really going to be our focus here. So benchmarks. So you all got this sheet here. Okay, if you want to take that out for a second, just a word about benchmarks. There are things that we know are associated with students that are college ready. And every year you're going to get a different one of these set of benchmarks. And so pull it out, turn it over to the back side and see these. So just a few examples. One of the things you want to make sure to do is to get you on track to have a 3.0 GPA by the time you get to be a junior. Okay? We're also going to be really pushing math. Algebra in particular, this first year, we want to make sure you guys all get into that, go through that, and then stretch yourselves in math beyond algebra. I can't tell you how important math is. My background is higher education, and I can tell you a lot of students come out, they stop taking math early, and they get to college and they really struggle with that. So we're going to make sure that you're on top of that. We're also going to want to make sure to encourage you to just make good choices. Be smart about the things you do outside of the classroom, because those things can impact you as much or more as what you actually do in the classroom. So those are going to be things that, as you say, put those in your binders, keep those. We're going to be going over those every year, and they will be year-specific, so sophomore, junior, and senior years. So moving on, thinking about what the program is actually going to look like here. We have a question. Okay, sorry. We didn't front row there. But in terms of what it's going to look like, so how many of you have brothers and sisters that attended LC before you? Okay, so quite a few of you. So you're probably very familiar with the fact that at LC we are very fortunate to already have in place a variety of things that will help make sure that you're college ready. So for example, you all have the math classes on Tuesdays, and we work on study skills, organizational skills. We'll introduce you to career prep, thinking about college and how you get into that and how you pay for that. We have the pause course that you take. Basically, that's just a chance for you to take a time out to work on some things that you might be struggling with in certain classes, to talk to a teacher about your grades and some of the things that are going on for you academically. We also have a Career Center, which if you don't know yet, Mrs. McLeod runs that out here on the first floor. Great resource here at LC. It gives students a chance to come in, learn about careers, learn about colleges, how to access those things. We have college representatives that are here on a routine basis. You probably have heard those things in the announcements. So they are there for you. And then finally, you have counseling staff here, and you'll be working with them over the next 4 years to make sure that you're selecting the kinds of courses that are going to get you ready for the things that you want to do after you graduate. So those are kind of the things that are already in place. So what Europe is going to do is just add to that, okay? So we're just going to supplement what already is going on. So for example, we're going to be taking campus tour trips. So we're going to go to some of the area colleges. And that's ordinarily something that you don't get the opportunity to do until you're juniors and seniors, if you even get that opportunity. So as freshmen and sophomores, we're going to be doing those things. We're going to take field trips. So for example, we're taking a group of freshman students in about 2 weeks to the National College Fair. There's about 125 different colleges from all over the U.S. to get some early exposure to those kinds of things. We're also one of the things I like most about Europe is it's very much connected to the family. So it's not just about preparing you, but it's also about preparing your family. Because when we prepare one student for going to college, we're really preparing that entire family. So what we're going to do is we're going to have family workshops throughout the year where you and your whole family can come and learn about things like financial literacy, accessing college, financial aid, all the things you need to be thinking about in terms of getting into college. And then finally, we're going to really focus on professions. Okay, so it's easy to say that you want to be, I think somebody over here last session said they wanted to be a neurosurgeon. Neurosurgeon, right? So that was the idea. Great goal. But she figured out at some point that, I really don't like blood. So one of the things we want to make sure that you do is have the opportunity to access professionals, to learn what it's like to really work in a specific field, what it takes educationally, so you have a realistic idea of what you're going to do. So those are going to be some of the things that we are going to add to what's already going on here. Now that's just the first half of the equation. The second half is you. Okay, so we do our part, you do your part. So what we're going to be looking for you to do is watch out for your activities. We're going to be announcing things over the announcement. You'll see posters. One of the things we really hope to do is to create individual relationships with you and your families, and we'll be communicating with you and your families about a lot of the things that are going on, so look for those. We also want to make sure to communicate with your families. And so we're going to be sending emails, flyers, things home, so that you know what's going on here with your program. So those are kind of the things that we want to make sure that you're doing. Communicate with us. We are located back here in the green room, room 128. We're always there for you, so just keep an eye out for what we're doing. So taking a step back, there are some more general things that you can do to help yourself be successful. The first is do well in the classes that you're taking right now. Okay, so I cannot impress upon you how important it is, even in the freshman year, to be paying attention to your grades. And so again, we want to make sure that you're good students. Secondly, get involved. All the research will tell you that students that are involved in sports or athletics, or clubs, or music, or drama, whatever it is you choose to do, the more you do that, the better opportunity you're going to have to be successful in the classroom. So take advantage of the many opportunities that are here. Third, if you get in trouble, don't wait. Ask for help. Okay? All of us at some point have run into a rough patch. We've gotten into a barrier that we can't get beyond. And as we pointed out earlier here, we have a number of staff people that are dedicated to making sure that you're successful. So make sure that you're asking for that help. And then finally, just enjoy the ride. Okay, you got 4 years at a fantastic high school, a nationally known, nationally renowned high school here in LC. So take advantage of that, all the opportunities that that's going to afford you. All right, so kind of shifting focus to the stage here in our panel. One of the things that we want to make sure to focus on, particularly as a freshman, is the transition from the middle school to the freshman year. It is vitally important. The things that you do now, the choices you make in the class, the choices you make in your personal lives, will impact the opportunities that you have later. And so you are really in the driver's seat right now. And so one of the things we want to do is to give you access to people that are living just a little bit ahead of you. Okay, so we call them freshmen in life. So they're former LC students that are their first year out of high school and doing some of the things that you will probably probably be doing yourselves in 5 years. And so our hope for you here today is to really listen to their stories, okay? And then, as Mrs. McGuire has pointed out, think about questions you would want to ask them about their experiences and use their experience and their wisdom to guide your thinking, okay? So I'm going to pass it back over to Mrs. McGuire.
All right. Before we get started and I introduce the panel, I want to be clear that how many of you have already decided, or you're pretty certain that you want to serve our country in the military? Awesome. Can we please give a big round of applause for that? Thank you for even considering that. That is fabulous. I will tell you that we worked very hard to try to get a military person here that was a former LC graduate. However, all of them that graduated last year are actually now at basic training. So we can't reach them. They have no contact electronically or otherwise. So I want to apologize for that. If you have questions or you're not 100% sure how that works with military, please come and talk to us or talk to Mrs. Mackley. We have every branch of the military represented constantly in the building, so we can get you connected with that. But I just wanted you to know that we did try to get an LC graduate here who is in the military, and they don't have a very flexible schedule. So we are very grateful to have the students that we have. I am going to introduce them by name. They will come up. After we introduce them, we can give them a big round of applause, and then I'm going to ask each of them to tell you a little bit about themselves. What we've tried to do is assemble a group of students who have a very wide variety of things that they're doing after high school. So you will be able to hopefully hear a little bit of everything. And what I really want you doing as they're talking is please start thinking of questions that you might have for them. And you can either use the microphone and you can ask yourself, or I can ask the question for you, however you want to do that, okay? But I first want to just have them come up and take a seat. So first, and again, we'll hold our applause until they're all up here, and we'll give them a big round of applause. First is Eric McGoy. Next is Kayla Dodson. No, we'll just give them a big round of Kayla Dodson, Michelle A. Henderson, Emma Graver, and Kelsey Wright. Now, please. You've all heard, it takes a little more to be a tiger. I have to tell you that I messaged each one of these students, and all of them got back to me immediately and said, I would love to do anything to give back to the school. I think that's pretty awesome, and it talks about what a great school you are at here. So again, another round of applause for our volunteers. They've taken time either away from work, or they've gotten up earlier than they normally do because some of them are college students. So I'm going to hand it over to them now. They're going to each just tell you who they are, what they're doing now in life, and then we'll start with some questions.
Hi, I'm Eric, and I'm going to Gonzaga University. I'm a sophomore there now, and I was doing community theater shows for the last year. I did 6 of them in a year, and now I'm trying to get a job.
Hi, I'm Kale, and I'm doing an internship at Life Center Church for a year, so that means I'm going to be helping with the music and performing arts area, so I'm going to be doing like tech and stuff, and helping with that. And I work at Dutch Rose Coffee.
My name is Michelle A, and I'm currently doing full-time at a job. It's a retail store in the mall, and I am going to be going to SCC here in January to get my AA degree.
Hi, I'm Emma, and I'm currently working full-time at Inland Imaging as a receptionist, and I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do.
I'm Kelsey, and I am currently a nanny, and in January I'm going to be taking online classes through BYU.
Okay, yes, that's great. In addition to these students, I actually have one who is driving here right now from Eastern, so he might be walking in at any moment. He is a college-bound scholar. How many college-bound students do we have right now? Awesome, huge, great. So up is the first class of college-bound students to start college. So when the program started, his class is the first to start. So he is out at Eastern. Hopefully he will be here soon because he represents another person. We also reached out to a couple of students who have gone out of state to school, who obviously couldn't be here, but they also addressed some of the questions that we have. So I want to start out, open the floor to you. If you have questions for them, it could be about school, it could be about work, it could be about LC, anything like that. The floor is open to you to ask whatever questions you want. Ready, go. All right, you know what? First session was on it. Awesome. Right here, hold on. She was afraid of micro. What advice would you give us for having a better high school experience? Excellent question.
I would say just stay on top of your work. It goes by a lot faster than you think it will. And before you know it, you're going to be in your senior year, and you don't want everything that you needed to do to be piling up on you. That's what happened to me, and I had a lot of credits that I had to make up because I just didn't want to do it. So, but also make time for yourself. It's really important that you don't only focus on school because then you're just going to be miserable. So.
Get involved and join clubs and join sports teams and make a lot of friends.
I agree with both of them, just making sure that you stay on top of school and get involved with clubs because you will end up meeting a lot of friends who actually end up becoming lifetime friends. So it's definitely nice and it helps it go by faster.
Make time for yourself. I was out of my house from 6:30 until 9 every day of my senior year. And that's 6:30 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. And it was terrible. I mean, it was fun, but it was terrible because I wasn't home for that long. So, I literally only went home to sleep. So I would say find time for yourself and just make sure you're getting to just kind of sit and relax and get involved. Some of my favorite memories from high school are through the theater department here. Just find something you love and do it all 4 years. It's great.
Yeah, I don't really have anything on top of that to add.
I will just add one more thing to that. We have a variety of things to get involved here at LC, but one of the things we like to tell students too, and it's good for you as freshmen to hear this, is that if you don't see the kinds of activities or clubs or things that you would like to be involved in, look at that as an opportunity for leadership, right? Get together with a few of your like-minded friends, and as long as it's appropriate, we will certainly support your efforts to create the kind of things that you want to do here to make your experience in high school richer.
Another question. Great.
How do you think what is the best way to get, stay organized?
Best way to stay organized. Great question.
I guess organization, by itself, I guess is not that important. Really, find ways to stay organized, but really what's important is staying on top of things. Because it's a lot easier to do one assignment every day, if that's what's assigned, than try to do 100 of them at the end of the semester because you were, too lazy to do them when they were assigned. If you don't do them, some teachers don't even let you, turn in your late work at the end of the semester. I was very lucky in high school with a lot of teachers who let me do that, but they certainly don't after high school, and a lot of them don't in high school. So, find ways to stay organized. I'm not very organized as a person. I sort of just throw things in my backpack, but, write them down, I guess, put them on your phone, whatever, just stay on top of things.
My freshman year, a senior, told me, Haley Jones, told me that you get a planner, or I don't know if you guys get them. Or if
You all have your Tiger planners.
Yes, you do. She literally just said, use it. That's the easiest thing you can do, is just get it out of the end of class, write down your assignments, and do them. Like, it sounds so easy, but like, I would get home so often and just think, I actually don't remember if I had homework to do today or not. And like, if you write it down, you're gonna know you have to do it, and it's the easiest thing, and it's one of the best things to do.
Okay, great question. What else? Again, it can be about their school, it can be about LC, it can be about working.
How hard was it to find a job after high school?
How hard is it to find a job after high school?
Well, I was fortunate enough to turn 18 the beginning of my school year, so I just started filling in applications, started getting my resumes together, and started to apply. Because at this age, like when you do end up like your senior year, because I do not recommend you trying to get a job at any other time in your life, because it's just, doing it senior year is just already going to be hard enough. But it's just putting yourself out there, actually listening for the opportunities itself, because you don't want to try to put your all into a place that's not even hiring yet. So it's just about actually putting yourself out there and making sure that you are ready for something like that, because it will take up a lot of your time. Because I did high school and work, and it was hard.
I'm going to jump in here for just a second. We asked each of these students. Oh, yeah, Emma, go. Right.
Having connections is really important. I know a doctor at Alumni, and I was friends with my parents, and he helped me get the job there. And so it's important to talk to people and tell them that you're looking for a job and that you're interested, and hopefully they'll know someone who's hiring.
At the beginning of this year, in like the beginning of September, moved out of my house into housing through my church without a job. Don't do that. But like what Emma just said, it's really, really important to know people, because I just got hired at Dutch Bros, and the only reason I got hired was because I knew employees at like all the stands, and I know the owners. And that was the only reason I got a job. I'm 100% positive, because I applied a bunch of places, and I didn't hear back from any of them. Or if I heard back, it was, sorry, we can't take you right now. So knowing people is like one of the most important things for getting a job.
I don't have a job right now, but I just want to say, try to get one as early as possible once you get out of high school, like, especially if you're not going to go into college right away. Because now I'm 19 years old, I'm going to be turning 20 in January, and employers are going to look at me and be like, okay, so you're 20 and you never had a job, what the heck's wrong with you? Like, don't look like a weirdo, don't look like someone who's, I still live at home because it's cheap, and I go to school in Spokane. Don't look like someone who lives at home for stupid reasons. You know what I mean? Like, that's sort of too blunt a way of putting it. It's kind of oversimplifying things, but look for a job early, because it just gets harder the longer you wait, so be proactive.
Okay, I'm going to jump in, because one of the things that we asked them to consider that we thought might be on your minds is, and where's the clipboard, by the way? Is the clipboard still awesome? Thanks for continuing to pass that. One of the things we asked them to consider was, now that you were out of high school, what do you wish you would have known when you were in 9th grade when it comes to college and career preparation? So each one of them has thought of that. What do you wish you would have known when you were sitting where you are right now? So if each of you could speak to that, that would be awesome.
It's going to sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but really do your work and stay on top of things and get good grades, because it's harder the less you work early, and it's easier. Like, all the classes here are manageable if you stay on top of everything and try your hardest to do well from the start and continue with that through. I go to Gonzaga now, and the tuition there is outrageous. It's $35,000 a year. So over 4 years, that is $140,000. And that sounds like a nebulous figure that people throw out, and I just want to put that in like real terms. If you work a minimum wage job, you will not make, like, before taxes and before living costs and eating costs, you will not make $35,000 in a year. And it might take you 10, 15, 20 years to save up $140,000. But my mom works at Gonzaga Law School. She's a professor there, and I get free tuition. I don't pay tuition; it's waived. So A, I wouldn't be there if it weren't for my mom, and B, I almost didn't get to go there because I didn't work hard in high school. I graduated with a 3.1 GPA and high test scores, and that doesn't sound really even that bad. Like, I think, can you say earlier you're trying to get everyone to get a 3.0 by the junior year?
Exactly.
Like, that's bare minimum. I mean, really hit it, because the average GPA of students who go to Gonzaga is 3.7, and that's including people who have weighted GPAs for AP classes, which we don't hear. But 3.7 is a lot higher than 3.1, and I almost didn't get into Gonzaga, and I wouldn't have gotten in if it weren't for my mom. She ended up having to pull some strings to get me accepted into Gonzaga and save $140,000. So really, just say really, it's very important.
Do your work. Just do it when you get it. Don't think, I have 2 weeks to do this. I'm going to do it in 3 days. Do it the night you get it, and then you get the rest of the 2 weeks to just kind of relax and do the other work that you're going to get tomorrow. You're going to get homework every day, and if you put off an assignment you got yesterday, you're not going to do it the next day, and you're going to have to end up either turning it in late or doing it the night before and doing terrible work. And also just getting involved, getting to know people in the community, connections are really important. For colleges and for things after high school, recommendations from people are really, really important. So getting to know people and building relationships, good relationships with people in the community that actually are established is really important.
Yeah, just pretty much going off of what they said, just make sure you're on top of your work. It may not seem like freshman year is really going to be that big of a difference. I mean, you have time to slack off, whatever. You really don't, because colleges look at every single year. And if you are not on top of it from your freshman year all the way up to your senior year, you will have a lot of difficulties trying to get into colleges. And I mean, take these classes seriously. I mean, English, you have to do scholarship essays. My freshman year, I wish I would have really gotten into that stuff. I loved writing, but I did not realize that those essays, you have to put your all into it. If you're not prepared for it, you're not getting that money. You're not. It's not going to happen. So just really take that stuff seriously. Take this opportunity. You guys are getting a part of Gear Up. We didn't get this. We didn't. We got other things, but not this opportunity that you guys are getting. So really take advantage of this kind of stuff. Because I mean, not everybody gets this.
I know that this is kind of what you hear all the time, but take school seriously. I didn't, and my grades suffered, and my chances after high school were really limited because of that, and so I really wish that I'd taken school more seriously. And also, the skills that you learn in high school will help you throughout your life. The skills that I learned in high school are helping me with my job right now, and it's really important to develop those and to work hard.
Yeah, just basically going along with what everyone said. Like Emma, my grades really suffered, and so after high school, my opportunities I didn't have as many. And just stay on top of your work and get good grades. I always used to say that I was a really good procrastinator, but that doesn't actually exist. So it's really important to do your work on time. Don't wait till the night before.
Just a reminder, those of you that are on college bound, you have the same opportunity as Eric with your college being paid for. Now, there are some constraints. You can't fail every class and then still get to go to college. So the whole point is, and what Garrett is trying to support you in, is making sure that you have as many doors open to you as you want to have open to you. And we want to help you explore what that will look like and help you make sure that none of those doors are closed because of something that happened in 9th grade, which you're hearing is a reality for some people. So,
okay, just real quickly, my background before I came to LC was higher ed. In fact, I worked in admissions at Gonzaga. And so one of the things I think you've heard here pretty loud and clear is that connections or relationships can mean a lot. So if we don't have a mom that works in the law school, right, we have to have others that are speaking for us, helping make our case for why we would be a good member of a particular college community. So one of the things I really want to encourage you to do as freshmen is really start to get to know your teachers over the next 4 years. Maybe create relationships with them, allow them to get to know you. Because one of the things I can tell you is if you're a student that's borderline, you go to apply for college, a lot of times the college will look at it and say, okay, so what else do we know about the student? And that letter of recommendation you get from a teacher that explains what kind of person you are, the work ethic you have, the things you've struggled with, can help you get into a college that maybe you might be a little bit borderline for. So I do want to encourage you to continue to create those relationships.
So, like, about the connections, with the getting a job, how you mentioned it was easier. Like, say if your aunt is like the CEO of the company, is it going to be very easy to get in? Like, as for, like, get a job?
Yeah, that's a good question. She's asking about if you know someone sort of at the top. Yeah, that's what you're saying. Is that going to be easier?
It's not technically going to be easier, but it's going to look really good on your resume. Because if you know people who are at higher positions and they have nothing but good things to say about you, then that's right there, honestly, you're going to probably end up getting a great job. Because that's exactly what I had to do to get into my job. I created these connections with people at school who gave me those really good recommendations and said that I was a really good worker because they saw it in class. So if you do that kind of stuff and the teachers are watching you do this hard work, then that's perfect, especially for getting jobs like that.
That would be the key. If you know people, but you don't work hard, it doesn't matter who you know. So Michele's point is that she knew people, but she also knew people who knew how hard she worked, and she had those connections. So when you start out and you're making relationships with your teachers, you're making relationships with us, with Europe, and we're getting to see what you're doing, how you're doing it. Those of you that are football, your coaches are watching what you're doing, and when you're working hard and you've got a good attitude, those relationships evolve, and come your senior year, when you're asking for recommendations, they're going to be able to say, hey, you know what? I've known so-and-so since 9th grade, and he was this, that, the other thing. But you've got to demonstrate that.
Do you have any advice on how to improve your working skills?
Working skills, work ethic. How to improve your work ethic. How to improve your work ethic.
Well, I had to learn the hard way. Like, my senior year was kind of miserable because I had to make up so much. But I think just, it's all on you. Like, it all depends on you. It's about your attitude and if you want to do it. And I know that if I would have really just focused, it would have been so much easier. Don't put it off until the last minute. Even if you have like a month to do it, just start at the day you get it. Because it's a huge relief when it's a week before it's due. And if you need help, don't wait until the day of the test to ask. I did that too, and that was also a mistake, because then you don't have time to learn it. So just try to stay on it and get stuff done as early as possible.
One thing that can help with Kenzie's question about a work ethic. You're going to work harder if you have a goal that you're trying to achieve. And Mr. Schragens talked about in the last session, your grades are like a paycheck. And if you have worked hard and your paycheck shows an A, that's going to pay off later. So sometimes the work ethic comes if you have a reason for working. Those of you that are doing sports or other kinds of activities, including drama at LC, your grades matter. You will not get to play, you will not get to perform if your grades are not where they need to be. So I'm guessing that for most of you, that makes the grades a goal. So sometimes that work ethic comes if you've got the goal in mind. And if it's the job later, maybe that's what keeps the procrastination from happening.
Personally, I'm not interested in business or human services, but I'm more interested in artistic opportunities. And I was wondering if there are any opportunities for those kinds of
people? There are endless opportunities for that, especially in high school, because you will constantly be getting told that there are people who are doing different contests on doing the best essay or creating different logos. It's just you just need to pay attention to that kind of stuff, and even just starting to get relationships with the art teachers. They have plenty of things that they can have you do. If they see that your art is doing really well, they can tell people. They have connections that they can tell. If they need a project, here you are. That's exactly what you need to do. Just make sure that you are creating those connections with those teachers. You just make sure you're taking the right classes. Because I know there's creative drawing classes, creative writing classes here. Take advantage of those classes.
I did music, and I did music all 4 years. I did drama 3 years. There are endless possibilities. I went to state with theater 2 years in a row. It's just, you have to pursue it. Like this, high school is where you get to figure out what you're passionate about. And it's kind of like free college. Like you get to, like it honestly is. You get to figure out what your passions are, and you get to hone them. You get to sharpen your skills and make them better so that you're more prepared to go out in the world. I think in the real world, I feel like there is a lot of opportunity for artistic things. Like I'm working with the arts and music portion of my church. I kind of plan on going to Broadway. There's the Falls has an amazing graphic design program. There's endless opportunities for art, so pursue it, definitely pursue it.
Just one comment on there. I know that your question, in your presenting the question, you said you weren't really interested in business, but I would also just put a little bit of a plug in there, because if you are going to go out and create an opportunity for yourself, it's good to have some skills, right, to be able to do your own accounting, know how to market yourself. So some of those things can be helpful too. And in terms of motivation, if you're able to pursue your passion, some of these other things that are going to help you do that will become a lot easier to do. So I would keep some of those things in mind because they're going to help you as well.
These are great questions, you guys.
Is it difficult to have a job and to go to college at the same time?
I don't have a job, but in terms of hours, I do things outside of school. I've been doing community theater for the last year, and each musical you do, it takes about 15 hours a week that you have to put in outside, not including outside of rehearsal time. So it's like the same sort of time frame as a job. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is that once you get out of high school, they don't make you go to classes as much. So you guys are taking 6 classes this semester, right? I'm taking 5 at GU, and you guys are going to school 30 hours a week, and I'm going to school 15 hours a week. And then I'm doing a musical 15 hours a week too, so added up, that's 30 hours a week. And it's not all consolidated nicely like your guys is, which is unfortunate. Like I have big weird hour breaks in the class schedule that are really awkward. And so I'm actually out of the house more than 15 hours, 30 hours a week. It's closer, I guess, to 40. But, and I do feel strapped for time a lot. Like if I worked in a musical, so, which is comparable to a job, I would have more time to devote to my studies and that sort of thing. But it's what I want to do. And if you're doing a job, as you need money, you just got to balance that sort of thing.
I will just jump in here too. A lot of jobs, when they know that you're in school, they'll work with you a little bit on your hours. So I'm sure that Michelle, when she starts at SEC, at SEC in January, I'm sure that her job will be working with her on that. So there are a lot of different factors when it comes to that. We've just got another couple of minutes, so if there's great. And Mike and Bert just joined us. Can we please give a round of applause for our
Okay, so, hi guys. I have no idea at all what I want to do with my life right now. No classes. I have no idea what college I want to go to. Nothing. What advice can you give me?
spot freshman year. It's completely normal. Junior year was probably where I was like, okay, I could do theater for a job. I could do, and like, I think it's completely normal as a freshman to have no idea. It's also completely normal to, as a freshman, have 100% an idea. I would just say, keep an open mind. Don't be like, oh, frick, no, I would never do that. Like, always keep an open mind, and when you think of something, don't be like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I know it for sure. Like, you could, in a year, find out, oh yeah, I really like motorcycles or something. Like, keep an open mind. You can do literally whatever you want.
When I was a freshman, I actually decided that I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. I don't like blood, so that's not something I decided to do with my life. It's just what's nice, especially since you're going to LC and everything, there's so many different programs and stuff like that that you can try out, and electives and stuff like that. Just start trying out different things. Like, even if you have just the slightest interest in art, try an art class, or try photography. If you like cooking like I did, try ProStar. There's just endless opportunities for you to just try stuff. This is exactly the time for you to do that. And it's perfect, because I ended up finding out that my passion was cooking from doing the ProStar and then going to Skill Center. You guys might not know what Skill Center is, but basically what it is, it's an entirely separate school where there's completely different programs that you can actually do, like, inside. Like, I was working in an actual kitchen, in an actual bakery, and I was doing an actual restaurant, like, all that stuff. There's so many opportunities for you to do, so just start now. Start trying it out.
Okay, well, my freshman year in high school, I decided I was going to be an NFL football player. And straight up, I was going to play football, and it was going to be fine. And as Michelle was saying, it's like you have options now, but like as you go to college, your options just open up even more. Like right now, it's like, oh, it's kind of no parent, you got so many things to do. But like when you get to college, like every single door you can possibly open opens up, and like as you go like throughout your like academic life and stuff like that, so many options are open to you, and like just take full advantage of it now. Just start now.
So really quick on that, that's a really good question. And actually what I'll tell you is that freshmen in college face that same question. So the fact that you're facing it is not a scary thing. In fact, about half the students that go to college come in with no idea what they want to major in. And of the remaining 50%, about half of those, the remaining 50% that do know exactly what they want to do, about half of those will change their majors. In fact, I think changing majors, people do that 4 or 5 times. So really, it's a chance, as you've heard here, to be open-minded, allow yourself to grow, allow yourself to experience different things in different classes, and you will eventually be able to narrow your interest and find that passion.
And just to add to that, we're all about making sure those doors stay open to you. So you don't know right this minute. My freshman student at Eastern, he doesn't know either, but the thing is he worked really hard in high school, which opened doors for him to go to college so that he could do what Mike's talking about and now explore what he wants to do. So the point is, listen to what they're saying about staying on top of everything so that those doors do not close to you. Because I think that Emma was the one who mentioned that because she didn't do so well academically, that limited some of her choices after high school. Now that doesn't mean they're limited forever. It just means that right now she's realizing there was an impact there. Okay, last one, and then we gotta go.
Did any of you guys do Running Start? If so, did it help you?
Excellent question. I'm going to answer that just in the interest of time. None of them did Running Start. However, what Michelet did with the Skills Center is similar to Running Start, but from a technical standpoint. So come see us for more answers on that. Can I find out where the clipboard is? Did it make it all the way around? Okay, wait. Before you leave.
We need to tell them where they're going.
Okay, before you leave, make sure that you have signed that clipboard if you haven't. Before you leave too, please realize, again, these students volunteered to come and give back. Can you please